Good to see you too. Taren, where are you? I've seen you on social. You've been traveling and stuff. Are you at home or where are you about?
I have definitely been traveling quite a lot in the past couple of months. I agree with your last panelist that it's a good time. And I'm currently in Venice.
Oh, very cool. Okay, back at home. Very cool. I got a trip to Antigua planned next week, so I am excited. Woo-hoo. Either you guys got big Memorial Day plans?
Tulum.
Tulum, beautiful. And Nat?
Memorial Day local in Hamptons, and then my next big trip is to the UK, which is not as easy to get to. Despite being doubly vaccinated, you still have to go through a quite rigorous quarantine process. So not the whole world is quite caught up with where we are, but anyway, it's all
soon
good.
enough, right? Well, I see you've been going down to Miami quite a bit too. You got to go visit my brother who just moved there.
Oh, did he officially?
Just moved. Yeah, Ryan is now a resident of Miami Beach, so I'll be going there to visit him more often, and hopefully we can all link up over there.
That would be fun.
Sweet.
Cool. Well, welcome to the show, guys. You guys bailed me out at the last minute with the cancellation. I'm so happy to have you guys here, though. You have such a cool concept that you guys have worked on together. I got the video yesterday, and I'm here to tell this crowd that Terrance Southern has a other persona, and it is an AI persona. There is an AI Terrance Southern that exists in this universe, and the reason is because Nat has a company that helped develop it, HourOne. Am I correct in that?
Correct, absolutely.
So super exciting. I watched the videos. We have a couple of videos we're going to play here today. Do we want to start by playing the video just to kind of give people a little color into what we're looking at?
I think that's
right. Great. Roll it, Michelle.
Hey guys, I can't believe it's been nearly 5 years since I quit posting regular videos to YouTube, and I feel like an entirely different person. The ironic part is, I'm actually not a person at all. At least not a real person anyway. I am a creation of artificial intelligence. That's right. I don't exist in the 3D world. I exist in pixels, 1280 by 720 to be specific. With the permission from the real Taren Southern, AI Taren can speak different languages.
Hast du schon einmal von synthetischen Charakteren gehört?
Inhabit different faces, ages, genders. AI Taren can sing. Time to wake up, brush my teeth, go to work. Time to come home and count likes as my worth. She can even relaunch her YouTube channel by creating new videos without the real Taren having to shower or leave her bed. And perhaps most importantly, the real Taren can now focus her time and energy on solving more existential problems. Problems like, what does it mean to have an AI twin? Am I creepy or intriguing? Do AI humans like marshmallows? I believe we do. Anyway, it's really nice to meet you guys. I will see you all in the Matrix. Or somewhere.
Wow.
Kind of funny. I've actually never had the opportunity to compare the real Taren Southern side by side with AI Taren.
Amazing.
Quite similar.
I'm haunted. I feel like I just watched a Netflix preview of the new season of Black Mirror.
It's here.
That is absolutely wild. So Taren, tell me about this project and what it means to you.
Yeah, so I was connected with Natalie last year, wasn't it, Natalie? Like before, was it before pandemic that we started talking?
Yeah, it was before the pandemic, and then the pandemic threw a spanner in the works, but then we picked up.
Yes, and actually, thanks to one of your influentials, we met,
exactly.
and we hit it off immediately, and I was so excited about everything that they're building and trying to figure out, well, what could we do together? And we sort of ran through a bunch of different ideas, but for me, it really just began as this collaborative experiment. What happens when a creator or an artist rather, like gets their hands on this kind of technology, what's possible, what can they do, how could this be employed in the real world, and sort of like just looking at it from that comprehensive view. So we wrote the script, spent, I don't know, 10 minutes in the studio recording me speaking so that could be ingested into HourOne's algorithms, and AI Taren was born.
Wow, that's so wild. How does it feel to have an AI version of yourself?
Honestly, great, because I just wish I could have done it sooner, because I really wanted to make sure I could like preserve my youth in one place. So I'm glad to be out of the way. No, it's really cool. I've been really excited about all the possibilities of how this tech could be integrated into my creative ideas and show formats. And obviously this isn't just about me. This is about a lot of content creators out there who could use this technology in really novel ways, beyond just cloning themselves. There's a lot of production possibilities that emerge when you don't have to get in front of the camera every day.
Yeah, and you've been an AI expert. I mean, I think I've known you maybe 5-7 years now. You've always been on this track. Was there a thought in your mind that you wanted to do this, and then lo and behold, you met your kindred spirit in Natalie, and then it happened?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I wish I would have had this around when I was working on my AI music album, because there's a lot of really cool things that I could have done to synthesize those two things. But no, it was like, felt like the necessary next step. So I'm just really excited to see what we do with it moving forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, so many possibilities. Natalie, tell us about the technology and why your company built it.
Yeah, so we built this technology in order to help creators and also businesses, which we can talk about in a bit, create presenter-led content in an automatic fashion at scale without losing kind of that human quality. So that's why we built the platform. And we have actually, it's a special case to get to work with Taren, and it was an awesome collaborative project. Most of our characters that we have, we've got like 100 plus, are just anonymous everyday people that we've captured and that are available just on our platform, ready for work. And brands and businesses can go on there and pick a character and just start creating videos, enter the text, enter the imagery, enter the various assets that you want in the video, basically put it all into the platform, hit a button, and generate videos that are really lifelike. So the point is to drastically improve and speed up the process of creating video, which is really arduous and time consuming and inconsistent, especially when you want to come back and make new content, you know, with the same look and feel. It's quite difficult to achieve that using the kind of traditional methods. And so we're kind of opening the floodgates to this type of video for businesses that would never even dream of having this kind of video for themselves. Not just the cost, but also just the the time that it takes to create videos, let's say, for every single product that you might have in your portfolio if you're an e-commerce company, or all of your content if you're an e-learning company. You could convert all of your text-based content into presenter-led or teacher-led content. So we're all about automation and enabling everyday business people that don't have the production skills or even the developer skills to be able to log on and create this sort of content.
So I thought it was fascinating that Taren had said that in 10 minutes this was created, like 10 minutes of mapping her got you to this point. Tell me what you guys do in those 10 minutes. Do you have her say like every word she could possibly think of and do like this and side motions and open her mouth, and like what is that like?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because we do have a video explaining that process, which I think we'll play in a second. But just to answer your question directly, no, we need to basically have Taren just talk for about 7 minutes. That's the content that we're looking to capture, and what we're looking for is have facial expressions and have facial movements. Doesn't really matter what she's necessarily talking about. We're just looking to capture her range of emotion. And then we create a fingerprint, essentially, or a face print. And with that, we can then create very lifelike content as though Taren's saying it for real, because we've really captured, you know, her characteristics and how she would express herself.
Great. Well, let's watch and see what that looks like.
Okay, so I am currently on my way to my first shoot since COVID began. I am creating an AI version of myself. AI Taren must have perfectly coiffed hair. I was put in touch with this company that's based in Israel months ago, and we talked about some creative ideas around creating an AI avatar of me, and then the pandemic hit.
A little less with the eyebrows.
But my brows are so fire. I will be providing my voice and likeness. My hair is very tough to work with. I'll be reading through a couple scripts and then singing a song and we'll be done. Time for good night, hope tomorrow will change. That's how AI Taren was born.
Wow. You guys really have it down as far as creating that like cyberpunky sci-fi cool cut video. Like, well done on that. That was super, super cool.
I was so excited. I have to give them major props because I think like there are companies out there that might have shied away from that. And I just love that they like leaned in. And yeah, this is different. This is a little weird. And so let's create something that like has an energy and a vibe and like personifies this strange new world that we're entering into. So that was really exciting for me creatively.
Yeah,
as you can see, the team got into it.
Yeah, oh yeah, way into it. So I've got to ask you, you know your face, you know your mannerisms, you know you better than anybody, as we all do. In looking at that, were you like, holy hell, that's me? Or is there parts of it where you're like, oh, there's parts there, you know?
No, it's uncanny. I mean, what's interesting, you know, as Natalie was saying, we did film a variety of facial expressions, and part of that process is getting like a really exuberant, over expressive Taren, and then like a version of Taren that's more subtle, and then you know, the most subtle version of expression. And so, you know, some of this is like a little subjective in terms of which model you're playing with on the back end and sort of what's put out from that. So we could dial her up or dial her down. And I might maybe personally make different choices than what the AI Taren is doing with my face. But I think like all in, it's pretty unbelievable.
Did they have you doing anything like shouting or like things that are like different so that they could get all those different modulations, or?
So the voice technology is actually a separate thing. So for that video, I actually recorded a voiceover and then it's matched to the image video technology. So it's really, I mean, Nat can explain that better than me, but it's the focus of their technology is rebuilding the human form in visual form. And I think you're working on the audio, right, Natalie? But for now, recording the voiceover, and then that's being matched to the AI creation of Taren.
Gotcha. Would love a little bit of color on that, Nat.
Yeah. So we really specialize on the audiovisual component, on the visual component of the audiovisual component. And there are different methodologies and inputs for voice.
Okay.
So depending on the level of realism that you're trying to achieve. So with Taren, it's critical for her that it's her voice. She's a known personality and her voice is so distinctive. So there's two ways that Taren can use her own voice. One is literally a voice file that is matched to her character, which is the route that we went. Another method, which again would happen through a partner, is we could have Taren's voice synthesized. So then you could do text to speech with her own voice, which is a project. But if you're going to go all in on your AI clone, then that would kind of be, you would want to do that eventually. Then when the voice, it's not necessarily a known person's voice, there are other methodologies, some of which, so on the one end, it can be fully automated. So we've actually got a self-serve platform, which we've just launched, just built actually. And in it, you can basically pick from a number of different automated voices that are a good fit for one of the characters that you might select. So you pick a face, pick a character, and then you get the opportunity to select a voice, let's say 5 to 10 different voices. And text-to-speech technology, there are very big providers like Microsoft and Google, Amazon are some that are providers of this technology. So we actually source open APIs and integrate them into our platform. The other thing that you can do is we've actually developed a very efficient methodology of accessing real human voices. So with the text-to-speech, you can now generate videos in less than a minute, fully composed videos with backgrounds and visuals and a motion template with your character in the video in less than a minute. So that's a huge milestone that we've just recently reached. If you wanted to achieve higher levels of realism, like you actually wanted to use real voices, there's also the option in a 24-hour cycle to get any text delivered through a human voice and connected to the character that you've chosen. So we can achieve an effect which is as lifelike as what you see with Taren's video. But again, it has to be with really like not known voices, which in most business cases, I think is actually the case.
Yeah, and I was going to say, because of the business use case that you guys are trying to use it for, it's probably not non-essential to have that perfect matching celebrity type of voice, because your random AI clone is not they're not going to go, oh wait, that doesn't sound like Sally, right?
Yeah, it's actually a little bit like just thinking about your business at Influential, where you're trying to kind of match the right creator or influencer with a brand according to the emotionality and that kind of thing. That's more of our thinking. Like, what's the right face? What's the right brand ambassador? What's the right spokesperson? And with that, what's the right voice and tone of voice that would create that overall impression? So that's kind of what we're striving for the most. The other thing that is really cool is that you can create your videos in many different languages. Just a little nod to that in the first video that you just saw with Taren, where she speaks German for a bit. But equally, we could have her speak German for the entire video, or any other language for that matter. And in that case, it wouldn't be her voice, but we would source a voice that would be a good match for her face.
Wow, super, super cool. I feel like you guys should do like a full-length documentary about this.
That's an interesting idea, Chris.
You heard it here.
Probably an idea project. But
that would be fun. So Nat, tell me, what is the potential of this technology? What could this lead to? What do you see down the road on this?
Yeah, so in the very immediate future, as in starting now, and it's very new. So this is kind of what we're focused on for the rest of this year, and and it'll continue to evolve going forward. But is this self-serve platform where anyone can go on and pick a character, upload their images, pick a video template, and publish, let's say 100 videos that could be all variations of the same video. So, or could be one video for every property. So let's take real estate, which is a really interesting vertical for us. Let's say you've got 100 real estate or 1,000 real estate listings, whatever it is. You have all of these listings, and what you have is images, and you have the text, right? The bullet points about the property. basically like dump all of that data into our database in a structured way. We have a formula for it, and you can basically put them all there at the same time. You can preview what the video is going to look like in a storyboard format, which lives in the platform. And then you're like, okay, maybe I want to make some tweaks to this one, or whatever. And then you're like, okay, I'm just going to hit a button, and now I have a video for every single listing. And that extends to any vertical within e-commerce, for example. But what we really want to do is provide a more human touch to digital communications, especially in the business world. So if you think about the social video revolution driven by TikTok, so we see it, a video first world when it comes to social, and you can see the likes of Instagram really shifting in that direction as well. Nothing's really been done in that respect in the business world. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create tools that will help businesses present their product in a much more engaging, video first and character-led way. So what do we see in the next, few years? We anticipate companies becoming video first and character-led. So for example, in the e-learning and language learning space, got a very exciting customer in that space where their whole business is based on human connection and human instruction. So when they go digital, they don't want to lose that. So what we're able to do is translate their core IP and what they're known for and their core methodology, which is very human-led, and transform that into a digital product, which is very scalable, very consistent, and continues to be human-led. So that is the kind of thing that we want to do for businesses, either businesses that need to transform from in-person to digital, or ones that are already digital but realize that they need, having a human touch, having a persona in the videos will actually create a lot more engagement and success for them.
And are you guys actively taking on clients and actively doing this currently?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Fully active and functional, and with a new product, which is our Selfserve platform. So if anyone listening to this is interested in seeing that platform and experimenting, and that now's the time. So yeah.
And how long have you had the ability to roll this out?
So with the Selfserve platform is in it was built maybe a few weeks ago, and it's in its second version right now, and it will continue to build and scale over the course of this summer, but it's open for businesses.
Very cool. And with it being self-serve, is it truly fully self-serve, or do you need some sort of ramp up to get to that?
So it's a great question. So today we are screening a little bit for customers. For those customers, it's fully self-serve. And then as over the course of the summer, it will become something that is more openly available to everyone and anyone that wants to go on there.
Gotcha. And is it sort of the SaaS model, like a monthly payment sort of model?
Exactly, yeah. And so you subscribe to a certain number of video credits on an annual basis, billed each month, and you subscribe to a package that is appropriate to your video production needs. And you can actually not everyone has like a monthly quota of videos they want to make. They have peaks and troughs in their year, which is totally fine. You can pre-use your credits, or you can save them for a peak of activity as well.
So for you, Taren, like, how do you plan to use it going forward?
It's a good question. We have been developing a project together that have a major brand interested in backing. We'll see what happens with that, but I think that there's some really creative uses of the technology, integrating it into a proper show format. There's interplay between real life humans and their clone counterparts. And so it's been a really fun development process, but hopefully we'll have an update soon on that front. And I definitely hope to be integrating it into my production.
Very cool. Have you been playing with the self-service tools?
I haven't. I just made a note.
I was like, damn, haven't been keeping. Yeah, I've also made a note about that.
I was like, I need to check that out. It's sort of funny.
Yeah, it seems like the ultimate case study.
Right?
Yeah.
My character's already there, so why not?
Yeah. That would be the next stage. So that would be so today in version 1, it's our ready-made, ready-to-go, always available characters that are on there. And in our next stage of development, it will be bringing the ability to bring on specific people into the platform. And Taren will be the first to know about that one, for sure. But I love how Taren talks about, like just the ability to free herself from being in front of the camera all the time. And even though she's brilliant at being in front of the camera, actually she prefers to like be behind the camera as well, and just like come up with the concepts for what this thing should be. And so to be in both places at once is kind of impossible, and it's just cool to the idea of being able to free up your time is definitely something that is like core to what we're trying to enable people to do.
Yeah, and very relevant to what you do, obviously, Chris, because I mean, you knew me from back in my OG YouTube days.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like I grew tired of that hamster wheel, and I really don't have much of a desire to get in front of the camera and perform.
Yeah.
My bread and butter now is directing and consulting and writing, and so I like that part of the creative process, and would much rather take my 10 years of YouTube content creation and like hand it over to Natalie and have her sort of take that and put it out there than be in front of the camera myself.
Yeah. So you have a movie that is AI Taren starring, directed by real Taren.
That's right. Exactly.
Very meta. But actually on that, so like we have a health tech company that creates content for basically managing anxiety, managing smoking cessation, this kind of stuff. Like it's, and it's normally videos of coaches or kind of representatives of coaches delivering this content, and they're just like they're inundated in the production of it, and they're not a production company, they're a health company, and so they're looking for, as they revamp, like how do they, and also their content's just like quite outdated and gets outdated very quickly as well, and it's just not a good look beyond not being accurate and all of that. So they're looking to us to basically outsource anything to do with production. They can just focus on their health content. So that's the kind of mentality that and the problems that we're trying to solve, basically. People just, they're not a production company, so like don't be drowning in production.
So where's the technology going? What do you see as what's the far-reaching limits of the possibilities here?
So it would be real time. So real-time content creation in as high a fidelity as possible. So we're getting there. So we went from like days to hours, an hour minutes to create fully composed videos. So basically the all singing, all dancing version of that is the highest quality character, let's say like a Terrance, available instantly to create content on the fly, so without any kind of gap between and responsive content. So imagine being able to have a live conversation with AI Taren. So vastly reducing any latency, any all of that, and with 5G and with all of other developments that are happening in technology, that we see that's the direction we're going to be going in.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen like AP and Reuters. They do these videos now where they basically just do a bunch of slideshows, and then you hear like a mechanical computerized sort of voice. So they're curating on that sort of plane right now. I guess what you could imagine is the realm of possibility with you guys is that you would have like an actual Anderson Cooper lookalike being able to like generate news like the second it's happening, and not have to like pull him out of its bed when it happens at 3 a.m. or whatever. So
right, exactly.
That's idea. I love that.
Yeah. It's going to put newscasters out of business.
No, but so this is something about the model actually that we should just touch on. Is it
Please.
wouldn't, because every character is tied to a person. So in this case, we've got a perfect example of AI Taren and Taren. So Taren owns her character, and she determines exactly what her character says and does. In this case, because Taren's a talent, and she's not necessarily the business model is about her having exclusive rights on her character. With the 100+ kind of anonymous characters are on the platform, we have a contractual relationship with Taren to ensure that her character is protected and all of that. With our everyday characters on the platform, we also have a contractual arrangement which protects the type of content they will ever show up in. So it'll just be like business-oriented content, according to, we don't do political content, we don't do content of sexual nature, we don't do highly we don't do divisive content, that kind of thing. But also they get paid. So the real people behind the characters get a micropayment every time they get chosen for commercial work. So actually it doesn't put people out of business. And that is something that I, in particular, really love about the company, is it's basically enabling real people to have a role and have a job, and potentially have a career in the virtual world as the world becomes increasingly virtual.
Got it. Makes sense. And are you guys getting inbounds of people wanting their own character created? And if so, do you have any sort of way to make that a reality for people?
That's a great question. Yes, we certainly do have a long list of people, and we're database of people queued up to become a character. And that is something we're going to make that really easy. Watch this space basically over this next development period. So we anticipate we're going to be building a function that enables people to become a character very easily. And that will also create a very large supply of available characters for brands. And in that sense, we really are a platform, because we have supply, which is characters, and then we have demand, which is businesses and brands. So the more we can grow both sides, the more energy we can create.
Yeah, it's a whole ecosystem basically. Very cool. Well, how can people use your current service? How can they access it?
So you can first of all go to our website, HourOne.ai, which will also be receiving a bit of a facelift in the coming weeks. But on there, you can just fill out a contact form. We check it often, so that would be a great way to start an inquiry. It's probably the best way. And you can also email me at Natalie@HourOne.ai.
You heard it here, folks. So how, on a more serious note, how do you deploy this kind of AI video safely, transparently, and ethically? Because I'm sure that everybody out here listening to this is like, there is a lot of possibilities of this getting into the wrong hands. I've seen videos over time of politicians being puppeted in this way and such. What's your perspective on that?
So from what we're doing at HourOne is we really want to deploy synthetic media, which is kind of the technical and tech term for the technology, which is code generated content. So we have a few things in place. So first of all, the contractual agreements that I mentioned with everybody that is a character. So a problem with deep fakes, which are things what you're referencing, is basically unauthorized use of someone's face. So we will only ever make content with authorized use by the person behind the character. So that's one thing. The other thing is that's on the character protection side. On the consumer side, we want people to know that the content has been made using computers, that it wasn't shot the normal way, because we believe that consumers have the right to know, and these things should be disclosed, and there's no benefit in pretending that it was normal content. It's like, no, we're bringing you a benefit that could not have existed before. If that could not have existed if we were just relying on traditional video capture methods, because you wouldn't see this video. And hopefully this video is a better experience for you, whether you're buying a house or a car or learning French. you'd rather have that human-led video experience. And so that is being brought to you by this technology. So this is actually something that's mandated in all of our commercial contracts, is that there will be a watermark on the screen. It's an unbranded watermark. It's altered visuals. It's just in the corner of our videos, which is just a disclosure. And some brands, we work with a customer called Alice Receptionist, which is automating kind of receptionist duties. And they already have an avatar that was avatars that were previously based on humans, and now they're based on humans that are avatars. So like a small nuance. But the difference being they can now automate their content in office buildings as much as they like, translate as much as they like. In any case, they call their watermark as virtual receptionist, because that makes sense for them and they already use that term. So, but again, that disclosure is within the frame.
Taren, a question for you. You've obviously been in the AI space for a very long time. Over the years, have you seen a greater adoption and appreciation and lack of fear around AI, or do you think that there's still a lot of a stigma and a long ways to go?
Both. I mean, I think that there is more open-mindedness than I would have expected. When I first made my AI album back in, I think I released my first single in 2017 or 2017, and then the album in 2018. And there was a lot of fear from musicians and producers saying, is this technology going to render me obsolete? And, I think it wasn't until I actually started experimenting with it and working with it and understanding the limitations and the possibilities that I could intelligently speak to these concerns. Some of which are valid, but most of the time there's a much more nuanced, larger perspective. And so it's been fun for me to be able to, step into that space and be sort of like an advocate of where these technologies could be helpful for creatives and expand the possibilities for creatives. And the response overall has been really great with both the album and the project with HourOne. So people are.
I have to say props to Taren, because I think Taren makes people more receptive to AI. She just delivers it in a really transparent, interesting, creative way. And I don't know, if you look at I don't know if we can distribute the links to those YouTube videos, but I was just really fascinated to go through the comments and just how open-minded and receptive people were. So I think it's very important to have spokespeople like Taren that people trust and that can present ideas in interesting and creative ways. And that actually does help a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Natalie.
Well, I can't believe 40 minutes went so fast, but I'm afraid we're out of time. Thank you guys both so much. Any parting thoughts, any plugs, anything we can get in for you guys before we turn this one off?
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
All right, there we go.
There might be some more AI Taren content coming out. So if people want to stay tuned and stay up to date with that, definitely you can find me there or on Instagram.
And what is your channel?
Taren Southern on both Instagram and YouTube. Taren Southern, just my name.
And Natalie, any parting thoughts?
I would say the same thing on behalf of HourOne. So please come visit our website and contact us there. Share what it is that you want to do with our technology, and we'll take it from there.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. It was such a pleasure to have you both.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Absolutely.
Bye.
My pleasure. All right. So I am going to stay on the stage, not only as the announcer, but also as the moderator for the next session. My good friend, Nick Drake, is going to be joining us momentarily. He is the VP of Global Marketing for Google. There he is. How's it going, brother?
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm so